Hey everyone, and welcome back to our Behind Her Brand Leadership Series. As you all know, we absolutely love having these different series every month where we feature some amazing women who are doing incredible things. And today I'm very, very excited to have our guest, Sheri Fink, who's going to share a little bit more about who she is in just a second. But I'm excited to have her here because we've never had a children's author featured. She was featured in our magazine couple months ago, actually. And what I love about her, she has such an amazing, amazing heart for family, for children, for empowering, inspiring. Her messaging is such a beautiful message for the world, especially the world we're living in now. And I'm excited that today she is joining us because she's literally a couple of days away from giving birth. So this is very special that she is joining us today. So welcome, Sheri, to our Behind Her Brand Leadership Series.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here today.
So tell us a little bit about who you are. Tell us a little about your background for those who maybe this is the first time meeting you.
Well, my name is Sheri, and I am best known for being a children's author. When I was a little girl growing up in rural Virginia, I dreamt of being a writer, a teacher, a mother, a princess, and a mermaid. And I feel like I have the best job in the world because I can do all of those things.
Right, right.
But I
And you
really
do.
got started about 13 years ago. I had been in the corporate world before that.
Okay.
And when I published my first book, which was The Little Rose,
Oh, nice.
um,
That's
it's
beautiful.
about a rose that grows up in a weed bed. And because she's different, thinks that she's a weed. So she is to discover that she's a beautiful rose no matter what anyone else says or thinks about
Mhm,
it, and to find
mhm.
friends who appreciate her for who she really is.
Yeah.
And at the time when I wrote it, I didn't realize that was such a resonant message. But I
Mm.
soon learned because the book, once it came out, became a number one bestseller on Amazon in its category, and then
Wow.
stayed at number one for over 60 weeks,
That's
which is
huge.
very unusual, you know?
Yeah.
So that changed everything in my life. And
Hmm.
it kept showing me, like, if you step forward in faith, even if you don't know the whole path, you're not
Yeah.
going to. You're never going to know it, right? But if you don't
Right.
let yourself get frozen, you keep moving forward, magical things will happen. So
Yeah.
now I'm on the cusp of releasing my 17th book,
Oh, that's beautiful.
Magenta. Thank
Yeah.
you. And everything I do helps build self-esteem, whether it's for little ones or for
Yeah.
grown-ups. And I love it. I get to speak on stages and empower women
Yeah.
and children. And I'm so grateful that I had the courage to start because I, for many years, wanted to do something but wasn't sure how and
Yeah.
was very afraid, and I got caught up in that. And I I'm so happy that I
Yeah.
did this because not only did I like get to create this business, which I love, but I also met my husband along this journey. And
Oh,
as you
cool.
mentioned, I'm a mom and I'm about to grow my family again. So
Yeah.
everything is possible. I guess that's my summary.
Yeah.
That's my theme.
It
Everything is
is.
possible.
So tell me, because I mean, I think it's a beautiful thing to, as I share, writing books, even just for, children, especially in today's time. What led you to saying, this is my passion to write and to share stories in this capacity?
It's funny. Almost can't help it. I
Okay.
I've been doing it since I was a little girl. Like, even before I could write, I would go to my mom and say, "Hey, write this down." And I'd be making things up. As a kid, I was making little books and cutting the cereal box covers off so I could have the cardboard and using my mom's
Mhm.
fabric remnants to make them. So it's kind of been like my thing ever since
Yeah.
I was little, and I lost track of it for a long time because I had to do really well in school so that I could get a scholarship and go to
Yeah.
college. Was the first person in my entire family to go.
Oh,
So
cool.
there were a lot of milestones along the way, and I kept thinking, "Oh, I want the corporate job. I want the title and the perks and the salary and the
Yeah.
travel." And once I got that, I was like, "Oh, this is like, maybe I did
Yeah.
this wrong." So it was when I was going through that soul searching that
Yeah.
I actually had a gift of adversity where I had been bullied in my office by another woman. And I was heartbroken over it. Like, it really
Yeah.
hurt me. I didn't understand that because I've always been the kind of person that's like, wow, if she could do it, maybe I could do it too.
Right.
I love that about other people. That I get so inspired, but not
Yeah.
everybody's raised that way. So I was driving to work one day and I was crying. That's like an understatement. I was like
Yeah.
bawling because I didn't
Yeah.
want to go, and I didn't feel like I could
Mm.
leave. I was raised by a single mom most of my life,
Yeah.
and she taught me when you get a seat at that table, you don't walk away. So I felt trapped. And I had this moment of complete surrender in the car on the way to work where I was like, help me. I will do anything to change
Yeah.
this situation. And that's when that little seed of an idea came to me about the rows that group in the wheat bed. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then it wrote through me in the car. I didn't
Yeah.
even feel like I was writing it. It was like I was just capturing it. I wrote it on the
Yeah.
back of an envelope with a mini golf pencil at all the stoplights. Thankfully, there were a lot of red lights that day. And I remembered, like, much, much later, I was like, well, you know what? When I was a kid, that's
Mhm.
how I dealt with things. I would write about it, but I had lost track of that for so
Yeah.
many years.
Yeah.
So once I wrote it, I put it in a drawer for more than a year. Ended
Okay.
up having a very serendipitous conversation after that with a
Yeah.
woman that I never met before, talking to me about writing, and she's like, "What do you write?" And I was like, "I'm not a writer, I
Yeah.
do business and marketing stuff for my company, blah, 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 boring." She's like, "No,
Mhm.
no, no, you've got more."
Mm.
And I was so protective over it though, because I had been bullied and I had like shrunk
Right.
down and my face was all red and I could feel it burning. But
Yeah.
she was so loving. She's like an earth angel. And
Mm.
she was
Yeah.
just so interested. And so I told her what I could remember about the story that I had written. And she said, you have to do something with that because my grandchildren need that message. I just
Mm.
got goosebumps.
Yeah.
And I thought, maybe it's a children's book. And then when I got home, I couldn't stop thinking about it. It
Yeah.
was tantalizing and terrifying at the same time.
Right. Right.
My brain wouldn't let it go. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it fast because if I do it slow, I'm going to chicken out. I have no idea what
Mhm.
I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm just going to learn as fast as I can. And
Right. Right.
within 6 months, I had the book out. I thought once it went number one, I thought, oh, check the box. My mom was proud. Move on
Yeah.
to something else. But that wasn't my destiny.
Yeah.
Then I had another idea and another idea. And now I know what my next 5 books are for the next 5 years.
Wow.
I never run out of ideas. And it's
And you got 17 books, haven't you now?
yes, yes, but it's so worth it. Like, I feel like this is what I was always destined to do, and all those other little, um, side journeys that I took helped me
Yeah.
get the skills that I needed to be able to run my own business. Because if I had tried this straight out, like, when I was
Yes.
18,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a clue how to do any of these things. I had to go through the corporate experience, and I had to learn how to work with teams and manage people and budgets and all
Mhm.
those things that led me to this divine path where I was
Yeah.
meant to be. And,
Uh,
it's just, well, you're on your divine path too. It's
yeah.
magical. It's still hard work, but it's
Yes,
so fulfilling.
it is.
It's the best.
What's one of the hardest lessons you had to learn in that moment where you knew it's time to make the pivot to something different? What was the hardest part of that you learned in that season?
Ooh, ooh.
A lot.
I've learned so much, but I think
Yeah.
the hardest thing for me is accepting that you have to let go of the good to welcome the great.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
It's not just like career and job and security and all of those like fluffy things. It's also sometimes people.
Yeah.
Because when you're evolving, especially when you align with
Mm.
where you're supposed to be going, there's like it's almost a magnetic pull, you
Yeah.
know? And
It's
not
true.
everybody is going to enjoy
Yeah.
that aspect of you because not everybody is on their purpose. Not everybody is living with their intention
Yeah.
and passion. And sometimes that will unfortunately repel some people and you might want to hold on to them, but you have
Yeah.
to be willing to let go. It's like I like to think of it like you're walking on a beach, right?
Mhm.
You're walking on a
Yeah.
beach. It's a beautiful beach and you love this beach. But
Right.
one day you look down at yourself and you're like, holy cow, I'm a bird. I have wings. I don't
Yeah.
have to walk. I can
Yeah.
fly. And you're
Yeah.
telling all the other birds, hey, we can fly. And some of them, they don't want to believe that.
Mhm.
They enjoy walking and that's okay. Let them
Yeah.
walk, but don't
Yeah.
keep yourself shackled to the beach just because they're there. Like, let yourself
Exactly.
fly, I
Exactly.
think that's been the hardest thing.
Oh my gosh. I love that you said that because I think that's the hardest thing is sometimes we stay comfortable in what feels good or what
Yeah.
feels familiar because the unknown is so scary. And I'm assuming you going from corporate to writing kids book when you first started had to be like night and day. I'm sure there's people like, what are you doing? Like, are
Yeah,
you
I thought I
seriously
was
going to do
crazy.
this, do that?
Sometimes I thought so too.
Because it's a very scary thing. So when you were like in the early stages of building this, and I'm sure you had ebbs and flows with all of it. What kept you consistently staying on the right path for you? Because so often we can know this is what we're supposed to do, but because there's too many unfamiliars, too many ups and downs, we start second guessing, jumping off, and going to do something else. How did you stay consistent in your
I think it was the fans.
path?
There's
Okay.
something so special about a
Yeah.
child that
Yeah.
tells you that you had an impact. I mean, I'm
Hmm.
getting teary-eyed about it, like when they take the time to write to you or send you artwork or
Mm.
come up to you at a festival and they're crying because they're so excited to meet someone who wrote something they liked. Like,
Yeah.
it's really, I don't know, there's something about that. It's like a reminder that what you do matters. And I think,
Hmm.
like, on a day when I'm tired and I don't wanna get up and do my job, right? I just
Yeah.
think about, like, well, when I do my job, kids believe in themselves. Kids
Mm.
embrace their uniqueness. They wanna get out there and help each other, and they wanna, like, do things and have fun and make a difference. I'm like, "I'm getting up," like,
Yeah. It's worth it.
yeah,
Well,
it's the
speak a little bit
perspective.
to that. Yeah, tell us a little bit about that, like a little bit what the themes of your books are. What are they about?
Mm. Okay, so my books tend to be social emotional learning books, which
Okay.
means that the reader discovers something special about themselves as they're reading the story.
Okay.
So I have books about being a good friend, about
Mhm.
overcoming a fear of the dark, about looking for your inner sparkle, like
Yeah,
discovering that your confidence comes from within you and not from outside approval. I have
nice.
things about trusting that we all glow when the time is right for us.
Mhm.
Um, let's see, embracing the change of the seasons and always looking for the good in every season and situation. Um,
Nice.
I have one about giving and sharing and collecting things in moderation.
Yeah.
Basically, all the messages that I need. I need books about that.
No, but these are, I mean, really powerful messages for what, we live in a day and age where there's so much about bullying, and you
Yeah.
see so many kids that are just, I read it recently on, I forgot what I was looking at, somewhere on CNN, I believe it was, that suicide rate is so much higher now with kids. And, when I think about that sometimes, I'm like, you want to always tell them it's going to get better. Things are going to turn out differently. You want to encourage those kids, but,
Yeah.
I know the power of written word.
Yes.
And you never know, the books, something they hear can literally shift something in terms of how they see their current circumstances. That's why I
Yeah.
think what you do is so powerful, because you don't know on the other side of that book what child is picking it up, what their home life is like, what's going on. But if they can read something that says, you know what, um, on the other side of this, there's your sparkle. Other side of this, things will get better. After the rain comes the sunshine. That type of thing.
Yes. Yeah.
I love the work that you're doing in that space.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think one of the best messages I ever got was from a mom in Canada, and
Hmm.
she said that they read The Little Rose at bedtime, and
Yeah.
she was concerned about some behavioral things with her daughter, her young daughter, 6 years old, and they read the story. She was actually worried her daughter was being bullied, so this was like a way to open up conversation, and
Yeah.
by the time they got to the end of the story, the little girl was in tears, and she said, "Oh my goodness, I am being a weed." She didn't realize that she was being a bully until she saw it from an innocent perspective,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
was like, oh, it gave her the permission to be open, and that's part of the credit to her mom too for being so
exactly.
inviting for that conversation, but I thought,
Yeah,
wow, I never even imagined it being used in that way. So,
no.
it's those types of moments that keep you going. Like when it's hard and you have writer's block or you're super, super busy or whatever
Right.
it is. And I always said, like, when I have children, if I am blessed enough to have children,
Yeah,
I'm going to keep publishing. I'm not going to be one of those moms that blames their kids for not doing their
yeah,
art.
yeah,
That's not me. So I
Yeah.
am really working hard.
Well, 17 books, yeah.
I'll seize the moment. I got a little tiny nap time. Okay, I'll take it. I got
Right,
morning
right.
before they get up. I'll take it. I got night
Yep.
when they go to bed. Like that's when I'm getting my work done, and I'm gonna
Yes.
keep doing it because I'm so passionate about it. And every time that
Yeah,
you get to create something and hold it in your hands, like it is so incredibly magical. It
yeah,
never gets old. And that's what I tell kids. It's so worth it. Like to hold it and see your name on it and know that you're going to
yeah.
get to hopefully bless other people with it. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's the best feeling.
Oh, I love that. Now, part of your journey, Sherry, with all that you've done and all that you're still doing, what has been some of the most magical, important lessons you learned about you as a
Mm,
woman?
ooh, that's a juicy question.
Mm,
I think probably the most powerful thing that I have learned is
mm,
not to settle in life or in love or in
yeah,
business. I think early on, especially if you're a brand new author and you don't know what you're doing, like I didn't,
mm,
a lot of things will come along and people will be like, oh, I'll offer you this for that, or why don't you
mhm,
do this, or try this marketing thing. And at first you're like, wow, they want me. Like, I
yeah,
should do this, And what I have learned is that just because something or someone wants you
yeah,
doesn't mean that they are the best possible fit for you or that you should even do it at all.
yeah.
So it's being more discerning, it's
Okay.
doing your homework, it's asking for what you want, which is
Yeah,
very difficult as a woman in our society because we're
yeah.
socialized not to do that.
Mhm,
But knowing like what would make this a slam dunk for me,
yeah,
like if I'm going to do this thing, which I don't even know if I should,
yeah,
what do I really want? And getting to the essence of that and being willing to tell whoever it is that's courting you, whether it's personally or business wise,
yeah,
this is what I really want. This is what would make it work for me. And then not backing down from that, And what I have found is that you avoid so many headaches, so many worrisome nights, so
mhm,
many expenses, all the things. Because if you have clarity about what you want,
mhm.
you can get out there and get it. You can find the right match. And if it's
Right,
not right, don't make it fit. If it's
exactly.
if that puzzle piece isn't going in, there's a reason for that and trust that your path is elsewhere. Don't find that puzzle piece in there. I see you with that hammer. I've tried it. It doesn't work.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You will
Been there before too.
get
It's so not worth it.
it. Yeah, exactly. So I think I have
Oh,
learned like so much more to say no to things that aren't right
mhm,
for me. Even now, like I get that little like whenever I have to say no to somebody, but I'm so much better at it. I have a toolkit now.
yeah,
Like I
yeah,
have words I can use. Like and if you say yes to everything,
mhm,
then you're not going to have time to write. You're not going to have time to market your books. You're not going to have
yep,
time to jump on opportunities when they pop up, the things that you really want to do. And
yeah.
people say, well, how do I know what I really want to do? Your body knows. You can
Yes, it
feel
does.
it.
Yes.
You can feel it. Like if you're like dragging to get to the thing, that's
Oh, yeah.
yes.
That's a sign. That's a sign.
Someone calls you and you're like, oh no, that's a sign.
Oh, and I used to, like, bull right through it, and then I realized over time that's not healthy for me. If it doesn't feel good to me, then it's not right for me in that
And
season.
there's so
Yeah.
many things that are right. So
Yeah.
it's like by letting go of these other things,
Yeah.
opportunities, people, whatever it is, distractions,
Right.
you free yourself up. And they're like, how do you have so much energy? It's because I don't carry all these burdens.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
It's
not doing
true.
things
It's
I don't want
true.
to do.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. Those are some really good lessons, though. I mean, because I think sometimes we do compromise our boundaries sometimes so we don't make people upset, we
Yeah.
don't offend. But while we're doing that, we're also hurting ourselves, by not
Yes.
honoring our own personal, boundaries. So I love that you said that. And it is something I think so many women are still learning and working through.
Yeah. I'm still learning too. I think we don't always know how to be graceful
Yeah.
and do it. But my mom told me one time, she said, if the building is on fire, who cares if you're dancing out the door?
Yeah.
Crawl, run, scream, whatever you need to do, just get out of it. And
Right.
I was like, She has a good point there.
Yeah. But it's true. It's true. The point is get out.
Get away from there. Like, stop wasting your time,
No, no, no. That makes total sense. Total sense. So with all that you do, and I know, like I said, you're about to have another little one, and you have a toddler now. How do you market? How do you stay productive in what you do? Because I think sometimes it's so easy to use life and other things as a reason for not doing certain things, but you're still doing it.
Yes.
How are you doing that effectively in the ways that you are?
Well, the way that I have been doing it, which is maybe not the best way ever, but the way
Yeah.
that's been working for me, I'm always learning too. But
Yeah.
the things that I do a lot of social media marketing, which I
Okay.
find to be very good. I don't do paid. I do just regular,
Yeah.
posting on social media, and I let my fan base grow organically, because
Hmm.
I think the people who are there want to be there and
Yeah.
they're engaged, and that's what I really want. It's not
Yeah.
about the number. It's like
Right.
more about the movement, right? So
Yes.
if people are
Yes.
into the movement, they're going to be into the stuff. So
Exactly. Exactly.
I do a lot of that. I also do PR.
Hmm.
So, like conversations like we're having today, which is
Yeah.
amazing because then I get to reach new people that I haven't
Right.
met before. And that's always very exciting. But the
Hmm.
biggest thing that I do is event marketing.
Okay.
So, one of the things, like, I'm an introvert at heart, believe it or not. You never know.
Okay.
If you saw me like doing kids events, you'd be like, with a mermaid with the pink hair as an introvert? Like, I don't know.
I'm gonna say, look at your socials. I would not have said that, but
But, when I'm passionate about something, I can talk
yeah.
about it endlessly, you know?
Yeah.
But I recharge alone.
Me
Um,
too.
yeah, exactly. So
Yep.
you can relate.
Oh yes.
That's the way that I am. But
Yeah.
what I need to do is figure out ways to connect with fans. And when I
Yeah.
first started, I was terrified of doing that. I
Hmm.
was so nervous to do events or speak on stage. Oh my gosh, what if I say the
Yeah.
wrong thing? What if I
Yeah.
look weird? What if, what if, what if? But what I
Yeah.
have connected with over the years is I just say a little prayer before I
Yeah.
connect with anyone, like especially on
Hmm.
stage. Please
Yeah.
let whatever is meant to come through me without my interference. And that
Mm.
lets me let go of myself
Yeah.
and not
Yeah.
focus on, okay, go over to this corner of the stage for 5 minutes and then scan the eye, like eye contact, back of the room. Like, I don't have strategies like that. I just walk
Mhm.
around and I talk, and
Yeah.
people seem to be moved by it. So
Yeah.
feel connected. That's all that matters, because then the
Hmm.
message will flow through. Worrying
Yeah.
about how do I look and where am I standing and is this a weird pose and should I hold my book now or not now, or all
Yeah.
that stuff just gets in the way of the message, right?
It does. Yeah.
So a lot of event marketing. I've built up my bravery for those things.
No, but I love that you do that because I think, like you mentioned, social media is very powerful for you as well. But I'm also someone very introverted, but I do love more personal events. I do love being able to see women and connect. And like you, I go home and I have to recharge. I mean, I have to do that. But I do think there's such a good value, especially in the work that you do, is to see people and talk and connect because they're very personal books, with
That's
very personal messages. Yeah.
that's where you have the most impact, at least from my experience.
Yeah.
And at the heart of it all, like if you wind it back and you say, okay, what does this all have in common? It's all about
Yeah.
relationships. And I
Yes.
saw you posted on LinkedIn recently, very recently, about the
Hmm.
relationship marketing. Like, that's what
Yeah.
it is. It's
Yeah.
every business is a relationship business.
Yes,
And
it
being
is.
an author, whether you're for kids or grown-ups or whoever, probably
Yeah.
textbooks too, it's
Hmm.
still a relationship business.
Yes,
So
it
for
is.
me, it's all about the people. You connect with people no matter what their age is. And if
Yeah.
you can have a heartfelt connection with somebody, you're
Hmm.
going to go home feeling so much more valued and
Hmm.
heard, and they're going to feel the same way. And they're
Yeah.
going to be interested in the things that you have to say and the next
Exactly.
thing you have coming up. And you're going to want to support each other. And that is where you build it. Like, it's
Exactly.
not a fast growth strategy.
It's
It's not get rich overnight. I'll tell you
no,
that.
no.
Man, is it rewarding. It is
Yeah.
a really, I don't know, it's like the kids ask me, what does it feel like to be an author? And I
Yeah.
say, it feels like every day is your birthday and you get to
Oh.
be the one giving out the presents. And they're always like, oh. And that's what it feels like when you get to connect with people on that level.
Yeah. I love that. So, okay, so in closing, what would you share with someone who is like, okay, I'm at a stage where I need to pivot. I'm ready to scale. I'm ready to do something different. What advice would you give to someone who's ready in that phase, but they just don't know how to make that first step?
I would say get an exit strategy, right?
Mm,
So this is my
okay.
corporate training coming into play here. So what you want to do is create a plan, and not a
Hmm.
boring plan, an exciting plan, you
Yeah.
know, where you're
I
going
like
to
that.
say, okay, I'm going to make a transition on this day and pick a special day for you, whatever
Yeah.
your lucky number is, whatever. But create a process that you can follow in the meantime on a daily basis so that you're taking steps toward that dream every day.
Yeah.
I am one of those people who's not like, just jump off the bridge. Like, don't do that. Please don't do
Yeah.
that. That's
Yeah.
dangerous. That's crazy.
Right. The board, don't do that.
Let's build another bridge for you. Let's build some wings.
Yeah.
Let's put a safety net under that bridge. Let's do everything that we can to
Hmm.
make it so that you can set yourself up for success when you do make that change. And for
Like that.
me, what that exit strategy looked like was for a year, I saved up my salary, everything I could. I didn't take vacations. I didn't buy
Yeah.
extra stuff for my house. I just paid my mortgage and my bills. And I
Yeah.
saved, saved, saved. And every week when I looked at that savings amount going up, it made me feel really, really good because I was like, oh,
Yeah.
something's happening over here.
Right. Right.
Then, if you can, pay down your debt. Like,
Hmm.
I think running a debt free business is a blessed business
Yes, it
because you don't have to make decisions based on finances. And
right.
then when you invest in doing an event, like you pay for a booth at some big festival,
Hmm.
you don't have to have that air of desperation that so many
Yeah.
people have. Like, please come talk to me, buy my book. You can just be like, you know what? I'm testing something out. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to meet new people. And hopefully they're
That.
going to like my stuff,
Yeah.
and you're not attached to it. If
Yeah.
you depend on the business
Hmm.
too quickly, it can't support the weight. It doesn't have the
Yeah.
foundation yet. And that's okay. It's not supposed to. But a lot of
Hmm.
us we think if we do one thing and it doesn't work, we're like, oh, well, it failed. I have to go back to doing whatever. And I don't think that way. I
Me
think
either.
try a lot of things. And if you can keep income coming in, there's nothing wrong with having a full-time gig, nothing
Yeah.
wrong with having a side hustle, nothing
Mhm.
wrong with selling stuff you don't need on Facebook Marketplace. Put all that toward your dream. Build
Yeah.
it up. I
Yeah.
think a lot of people they're like ashamed that they're doing this other thing. I really want to do this, but I have this other thing, and I'm like, that other thing is going to feed
Right.
this dream.
Yes.
It's a blessing. Like, do what you need to do, but save it up.
Yeah.
And then find people who've done what you want to do, who are
Mhm.
happy and successful at it.
Yeah.
You got to have both.
You do.
Good at it, but they're miserable. You do not want to follow in their
Yep.
footsteps. But if they're delightfully happy, but they're terrible at it, also a waste
Yeah.
of time. Like,
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I love that you're saying that. 'Cause you need both. You do.
yeah,
I've seen people who are amazing what they do, but they're absolutely miserable. And
yeah,
it comes through in how they display that. And so, and the sad thing is that you're picking up on whatever it is that they're not content with it. And then you're thinking that's the experience you're going to have yourself. And it's not. You're just actually absorbing what their experience is. So I
right.
think it's good that you said to have both. That's so, so necessary.
Yeah, and if you can make your pivot from a
Hmm.
place based in faith,
Yeah.
it's gonna be so much more successful. Like,
Yeah.
don't let people shame you because there
Yeah.
are people who will be like, "Well, if you're not doing this, if you're not hitting this number by this date, blah, 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 blah." They don't know. They probably haven't done it, you know?
Yeah.
Just let yourself grow and evolve and keep stepping forward in that faith because the
Yeah.
right people will come across your path at the right moment. There is
Very-
no way I could have predicted the path that I'm on now. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, in my wildest dreams as a child, I never
Hmm.
even got to this level, and I
Yeah.
had pretty good imagination imagination at the time, but
Love that.
you just never know and what direction you're gonna continue to grow in, and allow that. Don't hold on to a narrow focused dream. Focus
Hmm.
on the feelings that you wanna create because it's about the
Yeah.
feelings, and when those feelings shift, honor them,
Hmm.
and you shift too. And you don't have to make any knee-jerk reactions or decisions today. It's not about that. It's
Yeah.
about flowing with the direction you're meant to go in the universe and
Yeah.
allowing that. And then also being open to other people and meeting them along the way and cheering each other on. And
Yeah.
that's how you put the joy in the journey. It doesn't just happen. You have to bring it and
Yeah.
live it out every day and remind yourself, like, I'm on this divine path. I'm going to make the biggest difference that I'm meant to make. And it's going to happen in divine timing, you know?
Right. Right.
And
I
just
love I love that. All about timing. I always say that you never want to move out of season. It's important to make sure that any moves you make, it has to be the right time and the right
yes.
season. Because I tend, I've seen people when they jump ahead before it's really the right season and time, you make all the mistakes, you hit all the different walls, you're bumping along the way and making the assumption that you're on the wrong path when it may not be that. It's just timing is everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't compare yourself to someone who's further along in the journey.
Yeah.
We all do it. We're like,
Yeah.
wow, I wish I had what she has, or I wish
Mhm.
I had 17 books. Trust me, I did not have 17 books to start with, and I didn't
Right.
think I ever would,
Yeah.
like it's something that you build over time. So
It is.
comparing yourself is a waste of time because
Mhm.
your journey is going to be unique, and it should be.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
want to be your unique self. You want to shine your bright light because that's what's going to attract everything good into your life.
Very true. So tell me, with all that good stuff, what is up next for you? Like, what's the next project, and also share how we can support you. What does all that look
Oh, well, in a few days, I'm gonna be having a baby.
like? Yeah.
That's my most pressing concern right now,
Yeah. Oh.
is giving my daughter a little brother. So very excited about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then in September, on the 17th, my new book, Magenta, about a lost
Nice.
kitten who stumbles upon an enchanted cottage in the woods and meets some new friends who ultimately become family. All about finding the place where you belong. That will come out on September 17th, so I'm super excited about that.
Yeah.
And then I will begin writing well, I've already begun. I said I
You
can't
wrote
wait.
another book?
So I have a new book for next year. Actually,
Okay.
technically that book's already done, but
Okay.
I have one that's coming in 2026. That's
Okay.
a middle grade novel, and that's my very first one. So it's wonderful because the kids, when you write for kids, they grow up
Yeah.
and they'll come back and visit me festival after festival, and they're
Mhm.
teenagers now, and it's such a wonderful thing that they're visiting me,
Yeah.
but I have nothing more to offer them, and I see how disappointed they look. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I really want to do something fun and exciting just for them.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to do it, and that's going to
Ah,
be in 2026, and
nice.
having fun adventures with my family, and we're continuing to grow our business. We're doing some international things now, and
Oh, really?
yes, we're working on innovating in a lot of different ways. So we
Nice.
have announcements that are
In
in
the
the
works.
queue
Yeah. Yeah.
if the time is right.
Right.
But yeah, I'm
I
having
love
a lot of fun with it. So I just I'm just really appreciate moments like this where we get to look at it and reflect back and hopefully inspire people to move forward with their own dreams. And if you'd like to find me online, you can find me at sherifink.com. Also at whimsicalworldbooks.com, which is the name of our company. And everything we do is designed to inspire and delight and educate children of all ages while planting seeds of self-esteem and high achievement. So
Nice.
you can check me out there. And then on social media, I'm on Facebook at Sheri Fink Fan, and on Instagram and Threads and Twitter at Sheri_Fink. And I think that's all the places.
All of it.
I can't keep track.
And I probably should note too, we're gonna make sure we have all this listed too when we officially share everything. But you also do speaking for women too. So can you speak
Yes.
a little bit to that before we close? Because I think that's also important too.
Yes, I love speaking to empower women. I get
Mhm.
so inspired when I hear speakers talk about their journeys and what they're working through and where they're going. Like, I
Yeah.
love doing that too. I do a lot for nonprofit organizations, for real
Mhm.
estate companies, for women's conferences. And I'm looking forward in the new year to doing even more of that. So
Yeah.
that will be fun.
Cool. Well, thank you. And I appreciate your time. Like I said, I know you're getting ready to have a major, major, major new shift, a beautiful and welcoming to your family. But I appreciate you even carving time out to even speak with us. You offer so many good nuggets. And one thing I love about doing these talks is, you know, you never know what people's lessons are along their journey and the things that they gain from it. And there were so many different things that you pointed out that I think is just so key and so important, because people may not know you had a corporate background, and then you went to something that's really more your passion. And I think that's one of the reasons why we wanted to bring you on, because I think this is a beautiful thing, that sometimes we get stuck in things that we think we're supposed to do versus the things that we really desire to do, that can be successful when you put the time and energy into it.
Yes.
So I appreciate you so much for just everything you shared from the magazine, even today. I just appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, and you have a blessed day. And congratulations early, because I'm sure we're not going to hear from you for a couple of days. But I pray that you have a very safe and blessed birth with your son
you.
coming.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Take care, everyone, and join us tomorrow for another Behind Her Brand Leadership Talk, where you will meet another amazing, dynamic woman who's equally doing incredible things. Have a blessed day.